Now we are discussing the properties. The first property, as you are able to observe, there is a one-way conduction, isn't it? The message, you can say, I'm referring action potential as a message. This is conducted from one neuron to another neuron. Okay, this is a one-way conduction. And the difference between the chemical synapse and the, you can say, the electrical synapse, there are many differences, but one of the differences is that the chemical synapse involves one-way conduction, whereas in the electrical synapse there is a two-way conduction. Okay, so the first property of chemical synapse is one-way conduction. One-way conduction, and this one-way conduction, it is stated by one law that is called as the Bell-Megendry law. Bell-Megendry law. Fine. That's the first you can say. The properties of chemical synapse is that there is a one-way conduction of action potential. There is a one-way conduction of action potential. Fine, no problem. Now, the second property is synaptic delay. Synaptic delay. The synaptic delay means, see, from this docking, okay, from the fusion, you can say the exocytosis, and then activation of, you can say, postsynaptic membrane, then opening of the channels. It takes some time from one neuron, message transfer from the one neuron to the another neuron. It takes some time, and that we refer as a synaptic delay. It's a 0.5 second. Okay, 0.5 second is taken. Fine. Why this 0.5 second millisecond? 0.5 millisecond. Write it down. 0.5 millisecond. The thing is, because first the neurotransmitter have to be ready. Yeah, in order to stimulate, it have to be ready, dress up, and then it have to, you can say, take the vehicle, okay, and then vehicle they land, okay, on, you can say, the synaptic cleft, okay, that then they will make some, you can say, running, okay, walking, and then they will come to their place. That is the receptor. And after the, you can say, coming here, there will be a generation of intracellular signalings, okay, there will be generation, and there also simultaneously there will be activation of some of the sodium channels, and then there will be elevation. It takes some time. Okay, it takes some time. That's all. Minimum time taking is referred to as a synaptic delay. So another property is a synaptic delay. Now, another property is about the fatigue. About the fatigue. Fatigue means what is happening sometimes due to the, you can say, the less stimulus, or sometimes too much stimulus, okay, continuous stimulus, you can say abnormal firing, lead to the fatigue of these synapses, lead to the fatigue, or become, you can say, the non-functional. Okay, you can say too much, yeah, too much activation of these synapse lead to the, you can say, fatigue of the synapse, lead to the fatigue of the synapse. Fatigue won't work, okay, the synapse won't work properly. Okay, understood? No problem. Yeah, and there are other function as well. The two function which is worth to mention here. The one is convergence and divergence. Convergence and divergence. Remember the convergence and divergence. The convergence means there are so many synaptic terminals. Yeah, there are so many synaptic nodes. Okay, in one neuron, synaptic node. Okay, and they all come, okay, and jointly you can say participate in synapse. That is referred as a convergence. I'm just laying down in a simple language. Okay, and diverse means sometimes these synaptic, you can say the nodes, they have to work on another further neuron. That is referred as a divergence. So this is also one properties of the synapse. So the first property is one-way conduction, transmission of impulse, action potential from one neuron to another neurons, and this is referred as a Bell-Megendry law, one-way conduction. Second is the synaptic delay. Fine, means the minimum time taking to stimulate the another neuron, that's referred as a synaptic delay. Then we are referring as a fatigue. This is one of the property. Okay, if we continuous stimulation of the, you can say the neurons lead to the fatigue, non-functional state. Then there is a convergence and divergence. Understood? Now these are the some of the function, and one function we will also discuss about the synaptic inhibition. So we already seen that not only the synapse will excite, okay, write it down in the upper side only, the synaptic inhibition and synaptic you can say excitation. Synaptic excitation. About the synaptic inhibition, it can be direct inhibition, okay, direct inhibition as opening by the chlorine, you can say the chlorine ion channel. There will be an indirect inhibition by another inhibitory neurons. Okay, then there can be the pre-synaptic inhibition, means there will be one kind of a special arrangement by which the presynaptic neuron itself become inhibitory state. They will not transfer the message. That's called as the presynaptic inhibition. Then can be a reciprocal inhibition. Understood? So these are the some types of synaptic inhibition. If you want to write it down, the first one is direct synaptic inhibition. Second one is indirect synaptic inhibition. Okay, third one is a reciprocal synaptic inhibition. Fine, so these are some of the inhibitory synaptic inhibition. Understood? So we discussed about the properties. Now let's go and discuss what are the factors which can affect this transmission, synaptic transmission. You've seen that there is involvement of ion channels. Okay, there is involvement of ion channels. It means if, okay, by some you can say the pathology, or you can say by some process, the equilibrium of ion is not maintained in our body. Okay, means the synapse will suffer. Yeah, synapse will suffer in a very drastic level. Sometimes it lead to the coma state, sometimes it lead to the coma states. So now we are discussing about the factors which can affect the synaptic transmission. Factors affecting synaptic transmission. Okay, factor affecting synaptic transmission. The first factor, you should write it down, is hypoxia. Hypoxia means low oxygen level in the tissue. Fine. So when there will be a low, you can say, oxygen in our body, it lead to the neuronal activity or synaptic activity. Fine. Then you know that there are involvement of the channels, ion channels. So if somehow this ion channel, the ion concentration, ion equilibrium will disturb, okay, either maybe by the metabolically or by, you can say, the respiratory phenomenon, like we are talking, if we talk about the alkalosis, okay, or acidosis, okay, this both can affect the synaptic transmission, You probably heard about the diabetic ketoacidosis, yeah, diabetic ketoacidosis. In the diabetic patient, okay, chronic diabetic patient, there will be formation of ketone bodies, okay, there will be a formation of ketone bodies, and that lead to the acidic condition, led to the acidosis condition. Fine. And due to this acidosis, okay, the neurons become depressed. Fine. Depression, okay, in neuronal activity. And if it goes around 7, pH goes around 7, it lead to the coma. It can be happening in the diabetic patient as well as the high urea, you can say kidney related patient. So uremia, okay, high uremia, uric acid concentration in the blood can also lead to the depression in the neuronal activity, okay, depression in the neuronal activity. Fine. Then there are drugs, okay, and if we talked about alkalosis, it lead to the, you can say, excitatory activity. It increases the excitation of the neurons. Fine. The example is cerebral seizures. The seizures are abnormal electric activity in the, you can say, the central nervous system, result into the abnormal muscle, you can say, the movement, okay, alter cognitive properties, fine, involuntary actions. So when there will be alkalosis, okay, it lead to the you can say excitation in the neurons, overexcitation in the neurons lead to the cerebral seizures. Fine. Cerebral seizure, person have the overbreathing, okay, understood, no problem. Then hypoglycemic condition, okay, hypoglycemic condition also affect hypoglycemic condition. They also lead to the, you can say, the depression in the neuronal activity. High calcium condition, hypercalcemia, okay, hypercalcemia lead to the, you can say, the higher excitatory function. Fine. Higher excitatory function. Fine, no problem. And there are drugs, okay, caffeine, sedatives, hypnotics, okay, these painkillers, hypnotics and anesthetics, they also hyperpolarize, increase the threshold of the neurons. So these are some of the factors which can affect the synaptic transmission. Now let's go and discuss some of the disease names which is associated with the synapse, you can say, the problem or synapse. You can say synapse physiology is disturbed, and there are some diseases where it is seen that there is an involvement of synapse alterations, problem in the synapse. The electrical synapse, remember, it's very crucial. Okay, I don't discuss it, but you should read about it. You know the plasticity, okay, synaptic plasticity. Fine, the neuroglial cells, the astrocytes, they helping this for making the synapse. That's called the synaptogenesis. Okay, and also in the maintenance of the synapse, the astrocytes, the neuroglial cells, helping cells present in the central nervous system environments, they are helping. Okay, they are helping, and they are also helping in the synaptic plasticity. Plasticity means that the neurons adapt. Okay, neurons can adapt the things. That refers to as a synaptic plasticity, neuronal plasticity. Are you understanding? So in that, and for the long time, you can say the activation, long time activations, these electric synapses are very useful. Electric synapses are very useful. Fine, no problem. In the memory formation, I already discussed in the previous lecture that in the memory formation also, there is a formation of synapse and synapse plasticity. There is involvement of the synapse plasticity. Now we are discussing the synaptic diseases. Synaptic diseases, okay, also called as the synaptic disorders. I already given some of the names of the diseases. Just quickly write it down. We will have the lecture in our. We have the lecture over these top diseases. Okay, further. But for a while, you just write it down. We already discussed about the myasthenia gravis. Okay, we discussed one of the variant of this. This is, remember, this is autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune disease, or you can say the disorder. Then you have the Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome. Okay, and this is a rare autoimmune disease. Okay, this is a rare one. But again, it is also autoimmune disease. Fine. Then there will be. Then the research shows this synaptic. There is a problem in synaptic transmission. There is a problem in synaptic transmission in the case of Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's disease. Okay, the epilepsy. These are the cognitive problems. Epilepsy is abnormal firing. Okay, in the central nervous system, the neurons is abnormally firing. Okay, and person have, you can say, the abnormal movement, involuntary movement. They don't have the control over their movement. Fine, and there are classes of epilepsy. There are types of epilepsy like myoclonic, myotonic epilepsy. Okay, some are called epileptic erectus. Fine, and then there are others as well. Okay, so one is epilepsy, Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, any disease we left. And one of the dancing syndrome, the Hutchinson chorea. Hutchinson's chorea. This is also a motor problem. Fine. Hutchinson chorea. And then you have the one cognitive disorder that is called schizophrenia. Schizophrenia. So these are some of the diseases, okay, associated with the disrupt function of synaptic transmission. Okay, disrupt synaptic transmission function. Understood? Once again, what are the diseases? The myasthenia gravis, that's autoimmune disease. Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome, that's a rare autoimmune diseases. Then you have Alzheimer's disease, you have epilepsy, Hutchinson's chorea, Hutchinson's disease, and schizophrenia. So let's summarize today's class what we studied. We discussed about, mainly in this lecture, about the function. Fine. What are the functions of the synapse? We seen, okay, synapse is involved in both the function excitatory as well as the inhibitory function. Understood? Then we seen some of the neurotransmitters. One category which are excitatory neurotransmitter like acetylcholine, majorly the glutamate widely present. Then we seen the dopamine, okay, and rest of it. Then we seen the inhibitory, the two only, it was easy to understand. GABA present in the central nervous system, full form gamma aminobutyric acid, and another one is glycine, which is present in the spinal cord and brainstem. Very good. Then we seen about the properties of chemical synapse. One is one-way conduction, referred as a Bell-Megendry law. Then we seen the synaptic delay. Okay, we seen the synaptic inhibition. We see the synaptic fatigue. So these are the some of the properties. Then we seen the factor affecting the synaptic transmitters, because there is involvement of ion channels, there is involvement of ions. So by any, you can say, pathology or by any alteration of the normal maintenance of the ions in our body, okay, if that will alter, normal ionic concentration in our body will alter, that will affect the synaptic transmission. For example, alkalosis, acidosis, okay, mainly the uremic acidosis as well as the diabetic acidosis can lead to the you can say the coma state. Fine. Then we see in the hypoglycemic condition, depression in the neuron. Okay, hypocalcemic condition, hypoxia can lead to the depressed neuronal activity or depressed synaptic transmission. Then we some of the diseases, synaptic diseases. First one we see in the myasthenia gravis, okay, Lambert-Eaton syndrome, myasthenic syndrome, Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy, Hodgkin's chorea, and schizophrenia. So by this we are done with the synapse. Synapse is finished. Okay, bye. Thank you for having me. Have a nice day.